All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Kill a Kill, episode 9. All right, Ryuko is going to be facing the 4 Devas, but first she must face Ira.
Yes.
Ira, the one that got the incredible backstory last episode.
And the incredible abilities.
To withstand and gain strength through pain.
His
punishment.
He hardens as he is punished.
Yes.
Until it all explodes at once.
Yes.
When it finally reaches its climax.
It's kind of funny because it's like, yes, he is the perfect dick metaphor. But then they all were risen on these 5 pillars, which are very sort of phallic shaped, except for the fact that they have like
spikes
thorns and spikes all about them. So it's basically
like,
saying, don't put one of these inside you.
Yeah. Well, that is why our 2 main characters will end. Like, it's all about that scissor
that
power.
Scissoring action, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because that is going to happen eventually.
I mean
whether the metaphor or the, I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, guys. Well, blood and fury and pain and punishment. This is going to be a good episode. So without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys. We're going to start the episode in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, now. Yes.
Nandata.
This is the place where I crush you. This is a very triumphant form of, the Don't Lose Your Way song.
Is there a non-triumphant form of it?
No, but other times it's way faster and, like, emotional. This one is more like...
Right, like build up kind of a thing. Oh.
No, I will be the first.
This has to last for at least 2 to 4 episodes.
Satsuki dictates the order.
So length is important.
Oh, yes, indeed.
Of
Sanagayama
course,
at the
Mr.
last.
Bonin Edgelord has to be last.
Gamma. Yeah.
And then they cut to the opening.
Oh my god.
So she has to wait for 4 hours?
Yes, indeed. You would know this as an ex-school student council president,
That's right.
We have to get through the opening first, yes. We can't just go straight into the fight. Nani?
And this opening actually ends up just being looped for 4 hours. The next,
right,
however many episodes are just that.
I just gave up,
Yeah. Ira's so amazing.
Yeah, Ira is fantastic. Just the fact that he carries all this bravado in his voice. He speaks with such power. But then he like has this has this just hardened dedication to order and discipline. It's amazing. Mm-hmm.
Because of course they have to build up to it.
Right. Of course. Gotta get that sweet ad revenue, man. Steal us a TV set from somewhere. Oh my gosh.
This almost looks like they're gonna make a Fooly Cooly reference.
Oh my gosh. They're gonna build a TV.
Oh, and there's the Fooly Cooly reference.
Is that a Fooly Cooly reference?
Well, there's a TV that sprouts arms and legs, and
gotcha. Nice.
And it looks just like that TV.
Okay. Gives you 1 million horsepower.
And I love that it's Natural's election. It's like,
yep.
We see what you're doing there. Yes, by stripping. Okay.
You can't win. Mm-hmm. She's been manga'd.
Yeah. Backgrounded.
Yep.
Well, if you told her that, then she would easily stop, like, not fight them.
Mm-hmm. But that's how you know that there's something else going on, that all this isn't really...
Right. Yeah.
Hey, Marco makes her feel better. Yeah. She just continues as if nothing happened.
The teacher doesn't want to be on the student council's bad side.
Aww. What? What?
Awesome. Yes.
Oh my god. I love the spikes everywhere, just on all the things, you know. Alright, let us begin the tournament talk! Oh, yeah. He's distracted. Whoa. Yes! Yes! Oh, yes! Oh my god, yes! This is amazing! Alright!
Hero's looking pretty thick.
Yep.
I love how he can't really move. At least we don't think so.
Wait, is the only way to win not to play, actually? Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, so just don't attack. Yeah, yeah.
Just pick him up and throw him off the platform. Ugh.
Ay, 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 ay! That was a... Did you hear that?
Yeah.
I disciplined myself! Oh!
Yes.
Self-flagellation! Oh my god, they did not. They did not. Oh, armor!
Yeah.
Look at that.
And the way it's got like the Gurren Lagann
Kamina glasses,
like,
yeah.
built
But instead
into
they're
it,
gold. Oh my god, this is basically just like tentacle.
And he's
blast.
literally just
like
hitting her
flipping
butt.
her-
Into,
Yep.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
uh-huh. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And it doesn't work.
Yep. Breaks the text, yes. Oh.
Oh, okay.
Special powers. Ah.
Ugh.
Oh my gosh. Rinse, repeat.
Stardust Electronics. Really?
Wow. Wow. Very, very smooth.
Uh-huh.
She ate the lunch I made for her. Yes. Adoy. Oh my god, this is...
Hey, tentacle powers.
Tentacle
They're OP.
powers, guys, are always OP. I thought they have to dodge
Yeah.
it.
Uh-huh. Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. It is love. It is honor. It is duty. Backstory.
Yes.
Soga. Nani?
Yes.
Whoa. What the heck? What the heck? Oh my gosh.
I love how tiny she is compared to him.
Right, right. So she's gonna use something on other than force to make him kneel.
Uh-huh. She's
And
gonna
that's-
use her words.
Yes, yes. Nice. It's the never draw your sword also as well.
Right,
from
right,
Satsuki. Oh! Oh! Wow, the wheezing. Oh.
Oh.
You just took off the sheath. Congratulations. Yeah. Oh, he's not kneeled yet. He hasn't knelt yet. This music is so good.
It's like they're making him bigger in every scene.
Yeah. Whoa. Whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute. She created Hojin Academy.
Maybe?
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yes, it's funny, but I think that's amazing. Something other than force. She needs to do something other than force.
Sure.
Petty, petty. Oh. Dang.
I love how
I know,
kinky
I know.
But the mech part even has it. Like
I know.
oh my god.
Ah, even Mako!
Wow.
Wow. Oh, is he gonna help? Whoa. Yeah, but he has armor, so it should.
Right.
She's still got some blood left.
Yes.
Wow. Whoa.
They make it so like kinky and funny, but it's actually like really good stuff.
Yeah, it is. Oh. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Everything is drills and spikes. Here we go. Oh my god! She is an exception! Oh.
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
Holy crap. Dang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, they're not even being subtle now.
Uh-huh.
We spin really fast. Oh my gosh!
Ryuko covers her eyes. Oh my gosh. Wow. That's... Oh my... You have got to be kidding me.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. New transformation. Yep. Oh my gosh. Wow. With the music and everything.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Bakana.
Oh my god, it's Edge itself. Edge itself.
But in a lot of ways, she's becoming more like the school because now she's all covered in spikes.
Wow. But also,
Dang.
it was their pressure to conform and be molded, and she basically put on the form of ultimate rejection of that conformity.
Right, exactly.
The edgiest, the most rebellious, you know. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. He's so disappointed in himself. No.
Oh.
Whoa, nice. Well done, Satsuki. Yes. Too early to kneel. She's gone. Uh-huh. Wow, this OST is amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
And end of the episode. Yeah.
Yep. Makes sense.
Okay. That was a great episode. Man, they really took all of the kinkiness and of Hira's outfit and just dialed it up to 11.
Yeah. But I like that the actual fight was something about how he's
the ultimate, like, one to conform and all that.
right. Well, he also puts it as a way of punishing himself for all the lack of conformity the others have. and then he demands that people measure up to his standards of that.
Right.
Which is ultimate hypocrisy, like, in a lot of ways. It's like, because I think there's a part of it that's like, you can be the visual representation of what you think order should look like, but the minute you try and then force that onto, everyone else, you've lost sight of what your whole point
because it's
was even about.
Because it's about self-imposed discipline.
Yeah. All right, that was something else. The amount of ridiculous visual metaphors for so many different things was
it just kept extending and getting bigger and
more unsubtle and wow.
And it's great because I feel like, especially with the fact that his final release is in the shape of a spiky mech, it's kind of a nod at Gurren Lagann. Basically saying like, he's the embodiment of the idea of Gurren Lagann and manly fighting spirit and big drills
and resolve and all that, except that he turns all of the punishment essentially upon himself, and in some ways you can smell a little bit of the, I would say, kind of the hypocrisy foreshadowing maybe of Satsuki, or maybe that Satsuki allows these kind of half representations of what she's about, because they each represent maybe an aspect of Satsuki and what her will and her goal and her vision or dream is, but they come short in specific ways. Like she said that, basically falling
even into discipline can
even resolve, lead to arrogance. Yeah, exactly. So I think that because he wasn't able to see past his own, essentially flaws, because he, kept punishing himself for it, but not changing. He saw it as being the ultimate, he saw it as being the ultimate peak. He didn't see any more potential for growth beyond that. I don't know. Maybe that's a thought.
Go into that a bit more, because what I got from Ira was that basically the things that he was doing, there was nothing really wrong with them. They do it.
It's all his choice.
It's all his choice, and they set it up in a kinky light to make it funny. But there's a lot of wholesome lessons to be learned there, which is strange to say. But then he basically took it to such an extreme that that it ended up being a bit of a problem.
Right, and I think that that's generally the problem when it comes to observations that we make that we then interpret and then apply. Once you observe something, it's very fine to observe something incorrectly. Just go, I observed that this is this. Sure. And it's like, well, no, it's not
acting
that.
on incorrect observations.
Well, no. First, then people go and they make their observations, then they interpret it. Like, so he's like, I see this. I guess that means then that this is, what that, observation is. And then I take my interpretation of that observation and I apply it. And then I try to crush Ryuko. And, there's been this constant theme of, I would say, breaking out of your own, breaking out of the mold, basically.
Yes.
And Ryuko's character is one that is rebellious by nature and very rambunctious and, does what she wants and has really no second thoughts about what she's doing, because in a lot of ways, by her protagonist powers, she succeeds enough that she doesn't ever really stop.
And given the setting that she's in,
yes,
it's kind of just an easy go-to.
Oh, totally. But I love the idea that he took what was in some ways his own conformity and tried to push it onto someone else, push a mold that he determined to be the perfect high school girl, which is funny because as far as we can see, he's never done this before, just because on some level he uses it on himself. He uses it on himself.
Like, it's possible that he could have tried to do this before, but we have no reason to think that, really. And it did definitely seem like one of those things of like, because this was not enough, I will use my ultimate super technique.
His thing that he doesn't necessarily need to use almost ever.
Yeah.
And in some ways, this is something I like to think about, is what I believe he was doing was he was trying to force her into becoming like Satsuki. And
sure,
she is in some ways the ultimate life form for him, the ultimate high school girl.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is that that's something that I feel like the story is pushing Ryuko towards, but in a more natural way, for her to become like Satsuki, for her and Satsuki to become almost parallel in goal, mind, vision, and everything.
Right, and
in some ways, the fact that he's forcing her to do this, that he's compressing and being like, you must do this, she rejects that.
Yeah.
But what's funny is I feel like, in some ways, Gamagori Ira is going to end up having been right, but his methodology was wrong.
Right, it's the idea that the things that he valued...
Yes. I love how he can just be so vague and it's all like, yep, there it is, all that.
Yeah, is good. But the thing is that the part about discipline, the thing that makes discipline worth it, is that it's something that you choose for yourself, right? The one thing you choose for yourself, that is the truth of your universe, right?
Right.
And he was trying to force that on Ryuko, which doesn't work. And she brought up how contradictory it is, because he would be saying like, you must conform and you must do all this stuff, and she's like, wait, what about your precious lady Satsuki? And he's like, she's an exception, and it's like, well, you can't really do that. You know?
The truth of your universe, not the truth of the universe.
Exactly. And the idea that basically it's weird because Satsuki is a very independent yet disciplined and like and you know all about form and order and all that stuff.
Yeah, she kind of is the best of both worlds as far as she's being presented right now.
Right, and it kind of makes sense because from what we saw in this episode, there's a very good chance that she might have started this school, or at least revamped it so much that, you know.
But she also has a plan. She also has a plan. She has a goal, and this is the first step. The thing that I think we've almost had confirmed right now is that even for Satsuki, this whole school thing or whatever, this is stage 1.
Right. This is preliminaries, and then they need to go to nationals. You know?
Right. Yeah. Right. And it's crazy to think, because I feel like every time Ryuko fights with Satsuki looking down on high, Satsuki is just like got a million positive voices in her, all according to Keikaku, all according to Keikaku, all according to Keikaku, and she's just like,
she's just like, I'm a badass. Yeah. Right. And look at all this happening according to my whims.
Yes, and I feel more and more the conspiracy angle, the whole aspect of even how, again, we have revealed Mr. Nudist bitch. He won't tell her what happened to her father. Yeah, and yet that means he basically knows, and he's intentionally withholding information because there's some greater thing that there's something more important than her knowing that information.
Right, which is really interesting considering how opposed he was to her fighting the Devas, and literally he could have stopped that just by saying, "Hey, if you don't, I'll tell you," and you know this is the easier way of doing things.
So there's something even more important than. To him, this whole game that's being played in front of us.
Well-being, in fact, you know.
Or maybe that's it, is that there's nothing really to worry about her well-being because she has Senketsu. Yeah. And in the aspect that every single time that she's fought and defeated someone, Senketsu has gotten stronger. Yes. It's almost as if they're not necessarily prepping Ryuko, they're prepping Senketsu.
Sure.
And they need, in some ways, basically a constant escalation of shonen style antagonists to keep it getting stronger. And now we have an actual new transformation, which involves Senketsu going all unlimited blade drilled spike works,
Yeah, which is funny because in Gurren Lagann, one of the things that would happen is drills would just sort of come out of like everything, right? And
now we
make of that metaphorically what you will, right? But now we kind of have that, except they're not drills; it's spikes.
Spikes, yes.
Now.
They are the drills of independence that says, I don't need no societal structures to make me conform to your cookie cutter, boxed in realities. And I love that happened with kind of a press, basically, like she was about to get waffled or something, or panini'd or whatever. And she ends up, in some ways, allowing him to think that he's absorbed her and, basically brought her in.
Yeah.
And that was his pride right there.
Sure.
I like also in some ways how it was in some ways the pressure that was giving her the opportunity to make him believe that he had conformed. I've seen this. Well, I'll be done really quickly here, but basically I've seen in certain circumstances where you'll see the person in like the family structure who is getting like, beaten or abused or something like that in a story because they're not conforming to the family's way of doing things, and then the person kind of surrenders, so to speak, to make them think that they have, and then the person like lets up their thing because yes, look, you're yes, and then in their arrogance they go, yes, I can control this person, it was successful, and then the person basically opens themselves up, and then
there are a couple different things that I feel like can be gathered from the visual imagery that they used there. And I'm not talking about the the visual imagery. But the fact that so in some ways it's showing that Ira was kind of right.
Yeah.
That by allowing herself to be subjected to
punishment,
the whip of love and all of that, it was able to bring out the best of her. It was able to bring out a side of her that she probably never would have seen before, right? Because she didn't need to.
But now, is this her true self right here?
Well,
I think it's just a side of her. Like,
sure, but it's a side of her that she never knew existed, and it might never have existed if not for this.
That's true.
The other aspect of it is that what was the way to, and I think you're going to love this, what's the way that she was actually able to defeat the person that's trying to control her? Right, that's trying to make her rigid and structured and take away her individuality.
To surrender?
To get close to them.
To
get close to them.
That's a bit of a stretch because it's a physical closeness in this case, but it's not necessarily a...
No, I know. But the fact that there was the fact that the range was constantly the problem throughout the fight, and then the way she defeated him was not just to get close to him, but to get so close that they were connected.
You could also say she just got under his skin.
That's true too. And then of course there's things like his finishing move, his phallishing move.
No words to say about that.
So here's the thing. They had been doing an excellent job of showing just how they were not going to hold back with all of the it's not metaphors at that point. Not really.
Nope.
But they kept making it more and more crazy and all that stuff with the ball in his mouth and eventually just crushes it and everything. But then literally, it was coming straight from the pelvic region and everything.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
I almost got actually a little bit of a twisted kind of imagery thing that I think Ira would never see himself this way. Mm-hmm. But I think in some ways this is something that shows, I would say, a little bit of Ira's pride to kind of go on the side that while he was right, his methodology was so wrong.
There's just trying to wave his big...
No, there's very little, I would say, to separate this. If you take the imagery and actually what's going on in the fight, and strip down a lot of the mechanics of it, it essentially boils down to a larger kind of... I would say it has the stereotypes of the abusive father trying to mold his daughter.
Okay.
And that's, I would say, the arrogance of Ira is that he sees it in a completely different way. His perception determines his reality. But in another light, you could look at this and go, wait a minute. He's beating her.
Yep.
He's basically saying, all this is about me and my resolve to bear the burden, the punishment of all of this, so that I can change you into who you're meant to be.
Right.
But since when was it his job to determine who she was meant to be?
Exactly. He's like his.
It's a very typical,
his methodology kind of changed throughout the fight. Because at the beginning he talks about how he does this as an example so that then the students will take it upon themselves.
Yes, but then he starts.
But then he starts trying to
it.
Then he starts basically trying to take away the choice aspect, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, well, no wonder there's people like Ryuko, but yeah.
But I like that it was a good thing in the beginning, and then his pride takes over more and more and more and more. But he sees it as resolve, and see that's something that I feel like is almost a. I'm going way too deep into this.
I'm right there with you.
As a meta commentary on the protagonist in general kind of action stories, where they're basically saying, my resolve will carry me on, where it's actually your stupid pride. The only thing keeping your hypocrisy from self-destructing on itself is actually your plot and protagonist powers.
I love it. One of the things, because if you think about it, right, resolve and stubbornness and pride, they're all kind of the same thing.
They are.
The question is what is it that is the subject that's being adhered to?
Sure.
Because if you think about it, stubbornness is a good thing, right? You need to be able to decide something and then
stick with it,
right?
Because there'll be forces that try to
that try and make you question it and things like that. And you need to have a level of basically a barrier that says, I won't question it unless the stuff that is trying to get me to question it surpasses some threshold, and then I'm like, okay, maybe I should take another look at things and reevaluate, right?
For sure.
Because otherwise you won't get anywhere. You just constantly be spinning, changing direction, but never actually moving forward.
Right.
And in this case, it was something where his ability to stay true to not lose his way in a way is
pretty good.
Pretty dang impressive.
Yeah.
Like that part at the end where he's just like, I failed, and then he pulls out the knife. Like, it's like, whoa, okay, but say what you will about Ira, but he's a dedicated individual.
Oh yes, misguided in a specific area, but he's dedicated and loyal. Yeah,
and it's great because it's basically showing how, in a lot of ways, as different as they are, they both help each other. Because one, he brought out a side of Ryuko that she probably never would have seen before, and for Ryuko, she basically helped him realize that part where maybe he was like a few degrees off, where it didn't really, like, you wouldn't necessarily be able to tell, until he goes out until he takes that to the extreme, right?
Yes.
Until basically he allows it to extend to its fullest possible length. There's got to be a metaphor in there somewhere, or a lesson.
I'm just saying that there's some very, very pointed. Yes, I chose that word very intentionally. Aspects of this looking like the evolution of an abusive relationship that goes into some potentially darker stuff. And I see that the cool thing about this is that, since this is, I would say, a story about identity and about coming into your own, in some ways choosing
your way.
Your way, yes. Yeah, I mean, there is an aspect of not losing your way, but I feel like for Ryuko specifically, it is about choosing her way. It's not something where we can look back at the beginning of the story and say concretely that she had actually a way. I think that what it is that she had something that got her passionate, but then there are all these other people that are trying to make her lose her way, but they're not actually trying to keep her from learning this information. This is the part that I find kind of subtle here, is that they're actually helping give her the ability to find this information once she's kind of done these things in some ways that help her find her way. It's almost like Ryuko is the perfect reactionary protagonist that believes she's a proactive protagenist, and all the other NPCs, side characters, are like, yes, we must develop the protagonist. Keep developing them. But I don't want it. No, you're gonna get torn apart by Ryuko, and it's for the greater good. The greater good,
and you're going to like it. I'm not. But in the fact that they keep it mysterious is
Right.
also a meta way to basically poke fun at and take advantage of the idea of the you must fight through, you know, all these people to get stronger and all that stuff because the plot demands it for something down the road, whatever, who knows.
Right, because this is not about her getting stronger. This is about her becoming
Developing
her own
as a
person.
Exactly.
Developing,
Yeah, which is really interesting because her theme song is the whole "Don't Lose Your Way" thing. But all the times that she seems to defeat people, even when I think back to the Smugu guy, you know, it was situations where they ended up losing their way, right? And you could say that that's just an example of the sort of determinator aspect, where it's like their resolve is absolute, so then they end up breaking the resolve of their enemy, and then they're stripped of the will to fight.
Right, and then they have to figure out, wait, if I lost, what is my life's meaning? And then they have to find a new way.
Right, but if you think about it, especially because the characters that we've seen so far are very... Well, okay. Ira, in particular, is very dedicated to his beliefs and his ideals and all of that, right? So the fact that there is... Basically, he is being pushed this far, past the limits of his endurance... Basically, it is a way to take that aspect of the person being stripped of the will to fight, the you know, their resolve running out, running dry, and they basically get to grow as a person, not just as a So
yeah, I think this is a great episode. I would say it encapsulates a very fun, mechanics based, shonen type, you know, battle resolve fight, and also hints at some story things that I think are pretty big. One of them being that Nudist Beach is not necessarily on the up and up. Another aspect, I mean, that was kind of obvious from the get-go, but but the other aspect in that Satsuki made this school. And it was a part of her plan.
Yeah, that whole extra bit for the 5 years ago flashback backstory, that was great.
Very good.
Like, not just the fight, which was hilarious.
Oh yeah, totally.
But also the bit that we got about Satsuki and stuff.
And his skipping his graduation ceremony to basically say, I will not let you rule this school by force. And I will prove to you that there is someone. I like that he wouldn't kneel even when he was defeated. And then when she defeated him, she didn't leave him in a kneeled pose. She effectively kind of turned him over so that he was not ruined,
so that he was
by
looking
that.
up.
Yes, that's another thing. But specifically with her plan... And the first stage of it being making the academy, making this high school,
making this army,
making an army. Yes,
like that word was specifically dropped.
She wants to conquer.
So and she said that she wants to like take over the other schools. She
wants to take over the country first.
But it's
like wait a minute, but why?
And what will that exactly look like? Because what they've talked about before is the idea that by competing in club activities, you are defeating, you know, the opposition, right? But she said army. So that could just be like, you know, not like being a bit loose with terminology and like how it will be used and things like that. But I don't know.
I think if anything, this is one of those stories where Satsuki is secretly like really a main character, but like almost maybe even like more so than Ryuko in a lot of ways,
or at least more like plot relevant.
Well, right now Ryuko is a reactionary protagonist. But Satsuki is like the protagonist of her own story,
which is amazing,
and that's awesome. But it's like we're not being allowed to look into her head that much, and the times where we have, they've been probably some of the best like story moments in terms of like character insight ever. I think even in some ways they eclipse some of Ryuko's moments, because Ryuko's moments are, I wouldn't say that they're lessened, but in some ways the kind of the stubborn kind of rough and angry aspect of her character, because she hasn't come into her own yet, makes it that we are slowly seeing her transform away from that into something else, but we don't know what that something else fully will be. We don't know what her way is yet.
Exactly, because like with Ryuko, she even though, okay, Mako is a great example of a character that basically fills a role, right? And she fills that role very well.
Very well.
Very well. And we
Mako
love
is
her,
amazing.
right? Yeah. But Ryuko also fills a role, and that is the role of the main character. And while Mako might do a lot of the heavy lifting, Ryuko is still the main character. So I feel like her personality is something that is specifically done because it is helpful to, like, just move the story along and things.
Totally.
Whereas with Satsuki, it's something entirely different. They didn't have to have her be like this. So the fact that she is like this basically gives us more insight into the kind of person she is, and it's something that we can appreciate more because it's something that is done independently of the actual, like, plot of what do we need to have happen. So
it basically gives us the feeling that there's another plot going on, and it's the Satsuki's keikaku. Yeah, and it's like,
whatever that is.
What is that? That's exciting. Like, because in some ways it doesn't feel like she wants Ryuko to be stopped. It's like she wants Ryuko to climb to the highest point and basically say,
join her,
join me.
Yeah,
you know.
Yep. And together we shall rule over the school and other schools.
Or whatever. Join me on my keikaku. You know?
Yeah, right.
So, guys...
you want one more thing? Well, two more things.
Okay.
The part where Satsuki stopped the blade, that was really hype. Like, I really loved that part.
Yeah.
Because it's one of those things where it helps us appreciate the way that Ira sees Satsuki.
Yes.
Because you could have a character like Ira that's just wholly devoted and stuff, and sure, that's great, right? But
having little reminders of why he's devoted.
Little reminders of why he's so devoted, so that it's something that we can kind of relate to in a sense, because it's something so extreme can very easily become something you can't relate to, right?
Totally.
Because it's extreme.
Great point.
So the fact that they have Satsuki do extreme things like this, that makes it the whole, dichotomy of how they relate to each other be complemented nicely.
Right.
It works out very well. And then the image of the massive finger, in the hand, and then just the shake.
That sweet, wholesome moment. Yes. Oh, okay.
Wait, what were you thinking?
Nothing. But yes, that moment where he kind of kneels essentially, and that was sweet. I really liked that moment. It almost seemed to me like a death flag, actually, at that moment.
Because
Ira will die, and that will be his last kind of moment that he remembers fondly.
Oh yeah, I could absolutely see that happening, and it would be so sad because it would basically be like the dog, dying in the story. And that would get an emotional reaction out of Satsuki.
Isn't it weird how they make all the wholesome muscle boys into basically like dogs?
Oh.
Their main thing is loyalty. Their main thing is that they're devoted. The main thing is that they're kind of in this weird love relationship that's not at all romantic. It's just it's just pure devotion.
In Ira's case, I don't know.
Well, but Ira's is a little bit of a self-love kind of thing, if you know what I'm saying. Mr. Self-flagellation.
Well, the fact that he was like, you think I can't punish myself and bring myself to climax? But I think it's one of those things where when you have the stereotype of the muscle-head person that's sort of just like the brash a-hole kind of a thing, this is the way to do sort of the villainous virtues
trope.
Yeah, where basically with all of that, they also have basically restraint, right? Because I mean, the other type of musclehead characters are not very interesting. Yeah. So.
All right, guys. Well, this is a fantastic episode.
Yes.
If you want to see the next episode's reaction right now, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get early access there. Any level support gets you access to our Discord, where you can chat with us about stories, get involved in Discord events, or whatever. And if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.